Hello everyone, it is Alyssa here and welcome to another episode of She Who Heals, the spiritual business podcast for healers to take up space and talk about the services they offer. I have finally released one of my favorite episodes with one of my favorite people, Miss Courtney Heals. Courtney Heals was my original healer, someone that I went to clear out these energetic blocks and to relearn about the chakras. I had learned about chakras in yoga teacher training, but I was not able to apply my knowledge of the chakras into my everyday life until I started working with Lauren, because she taught me to do such things. And she's just so good. And you know what's so funny? I have to share this, you guys, before I play this episode, because something really funny is true. You can only understand what your energetic frequency is allowing you to understand. Lauren and I did this podcast episode back in June. It was right before my birthday, right before my 29th birthday. We may call it my Saturn return. Whatever it was painful. If you listen to the most recent episode that I just released, I go into sharing with you all that I've been learning these past few months. Lauren's episode is absolute divine medicine for this time of my life and journey, and I know it's going to be ready to serve you as well. So if you are in between, if you're curious, if you're wondering what to do next, what is the answer to life, all of those questions that actually create overthinking, I'm here to tell you, enjoy the episode, listen to Lauren, allow yourself to receive, and continue to go along your path. Trust that you're doing what you're here to do, especially if it feels right. It may be very uncomfortable. You may have a lot of resistance, but if you know it's going to continue leading you, just work hard and have fun. Lauren has the relaunch of her Glow Up Year Biz happening at the end of this year, and she is going to be holding space for a 3-month mastermind. Enjoy the episode, you guys. I can't wait to hear what you take from it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Who Heals, the spiritual business podcast. I am so freaking excited, you guys, because this feels like such a full circle moment. I am with the healer who activated me into my beginning healing journey. I say activate me into the beginning of my healing journey because I really learned about the healing journey and knowing that it's actually a thing and it actually changes your life, especially when you commit to it and you work alongside someone who is devoted to their journey as well. And I'm just so excited. So with that being said, you guys, today we have Courtney, Miss Courtney Heals on the podcast today. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Hi. So happy to be here. It's definitely a full circle moment to be a guest on your podcast for sure.
Lauren, I think it was 2 years ago when I signed up and started on I forget, what was the program called? Do you remember? It was like a 8-week journey. And then I just continued to work with you for like a whole year after that. I was like, more, what's next?
I think you might have started with Glow Up Your Business. Was that your first one with me? Or
no, it was a chakra cleanse.
It could have been Glow Up Your Chakras. Then I know you did like the part 2 and then I think you did the business. So I think you just kind of did chakras or a business one-on-one. We went through it.
We did. And it was, and one of my favorite things too is I remember you weren't even offering a program at the time, but you knew that I had gone to you about something that had happened in my life that was like all of a sudden just completely changed my life. And it didn't feel good in the moment. I felt terrible. And such a healing moment was when you said, I'm called to offer you this program. And the fact that like, oh, it's 11:11 here where I'm at right now. Like the way you take up space, Lauren, is so powerful. And I would love to talk more about how you offer your healing services and the journey of like making money in the process of helping others in their journey, because I had gone to you with this like experience, and I may have even asked like, can you help me? But I think I remember you sending me an email saying, I'm called to give you this special offer. Lauren, you helped me cut so many energetic cords and ties and helped me release so much darkness. But like, it was just, it's like, I think about it, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm at that stage in my journey yet where it's like someone comes to me and then I offer them a full program just for them. Like the fact that you were able to hold space for me, but then give me an opportunity to invest in my healing is just so incredibly inspiring from a business standpoint and also a healing standpoint, because I think for healers, we just want to give so much. And for me personally, I think I can be afraid to like monetize off of someone's pain. But it's not that. It's really like giving someone the opportunity to take up space and be held and be cared for from a professional like yourself. So I don't think I've ever told you that, but thank you for inspiring me as a woman, as a healer, as an entrepreneur. Can you share with us how you started off on making money as a healer?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for sharing that with me. I don't talk much about what I do, right? Like I talk about what I do on social media or with clients or with people that ask, but I don't talk about what I do because it's not that I don't know what I do. I know exactly what I do. I'm a channel for spirit. I'm a very clear channel for source, and you know, it's a gift, and I believe it's a gift, as you know, that we all have. And with that, you know, it's something I had to learn. I had to really learn to honor my time and space, and that this is a gift that is meant to be shared with others. And something a mentor shared with me, maybe like 2 years ago, he said, your healing work is free. It's your time that's valuable. So you decide what is your time worth. And that's something that really stuck with me as I've grown my business and as I've begun charging more for my time with clients. But at the beginning, I mean, I gave so much Reiki. The first year I was Reiki certified about 5 years ago, I gave so much Reiki to people. I was just giving. And quite honestly, I think that's part of the journey, part of getting you to a place where you can even feel comfortable charging, because you have to feel comfortable doing the work. So I spent a lot of time doing that while also paying my bills other ways. But then I got to a point where God kind of said like, hey, Lauren, we're taking all these other jobs away so you can really create a thriving business with what you're meant to do. You have all your tools now. Now go, and we'll show you the path. And I was shown the path. I was, you know, my coaching started out, I did my first offer ever, like really first offer ever, was called Unlock Your Magic. And it was a 6-week one-on-one coaching program. And I enrolled, I think, 6 people in that program. And God, I can't even remember what it cost, maybe $1,500 for the 6 weeks with me. I made a booklet. I mailed everyone these like cute little gifts to their house that incorporated what we were going to do every week. It was just, I was so in love with what I was doing so early on that I wanted to do it in the best possible way that like I knew how, and with an events background and a marketing background, it kind of flowed. And I realized, okay, at a certain point, I need to grow deeper. And I would ask God, like, what am I supposed to do next? Show me the next path. And that led me to creating my sound healing programs, which were live at first, and now we're evergreen. So, I mean, for me, it was, and it continues to be, and what I teach a lot of clients who work with me in regards to their business is, not only do you charge for your time, but how can you also make money in your sleep so you can enjoy your time? Like, how can we enjoy our life? Because the healing journey is rough. And that's why I do the work that I do. So no one has to go through it alone, because my belief and what I've learned is what I transmute within myself, I can transmute and help others with those exact same things. So when you came to me at that time, when you came to me, I was like, oh, I've been here. I've done this work. Okay, got it. I know exactly how I can serve her right now because I was shown it. That's how I like to show up the most. I like to show up in a way that's like, okay, I know what this person needs right now. I've been there. We can do this. I'm going to help walk you through this fire so you don't have to do it alone. And I only take on X amount of one-on-one clients at a time because we go really deep. And then I've learned how to create these other programs, which are so powerful and lead people to the deeper work. And it also allows me to, essentially make money in my sleep on programs that have been tested over and over and over and over and over again and have tons of feedback from clients. So, it's ever growing and ever evolving how to make money as a healer, but healing is not a free service. It may have been something free that many of us have done in many, 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 many lifetimes, but this is not the lifetime where we give that away. This is the lifetime where we get to be of service and also be abundant and have fun and play.
I love that. There's so many questions I want to ask you. And first off, I want to just reiterate the healing journey is rough. It is rough. But I also feel that it's meant to be rough during this lifetime for many different reasons, right? Like maybe ancestral karmic clearing. Maybe we're also getting tougher as humans, ready for raising that next generation. So it's always for a bigger, grander reason. So no, I have no shame nor regrets of starting this healing journey and taking on the role that I am even in right now. So again, I thank you for being such an inspiration to so many of us healers who are stepping into our healing and healer role. The next thing I want to talk to you though too about is the evergreen of healing. So I know how important it is for your time. I know how you holding space and just sharing the wisdom and channeling all you shared with me really, really helped shift perspectives for me, which I needed. You were able to shift a perspective for me that no one else around me could do, which makes sense. I wasn't around people who were on their healing journey. So how do you create an evergreen program that is still so impactful, but not having someone not being able to have part of your time? How is this evergreen experience helping your clients?
So with the evergreens, every program that is evergreen, I've always run live before. And more often than not, I've run it live multiple times. And the reason that they've become evergreen is because people wanted access at a price that they could afford, at a price that seemed available to them. And, with Glow Up Your Chakras, for instance, it's a 14-week program. Some people don't have the space right now to show up for 14 weeks. They're just at the beginning of the journey, trying to just get the tools and figure out the pieces. So in that program specifically, you get access to the 14 weeks of course material. You get access to 14 weeks of journal prompts, access to 14 weeks of sound healing, 14 weeks of food. I give you food lists. I give you different crystals to work with, anything and everything I could possibly give you to work with your chakras is loaded in that program. And what's beautiful and what I love about it, you have it for 14 weeks and you do it for 14 weeks, but then you have it forever. And I have clients who've done this program, you included 3-4 years ago in some cases, who will message me and say, oh my God, I just dove back into the root chakra sound healing. I'm going to go through the 14 weeks again. I'm so excited. And every time anyone goes back to them, myself included, because I use all of these, you receive something new. Because you can, right? You could start off the spring season, or we're stepping into summer. You could start the summer off with these 14 weeks and you go through the entire summer peeling back layers and activating new parts of you. You get to fall, you feel like a new person. And then you're like, you know what? I think I want to do it again. And you're going to again feel like a new person because whatever you've healed, cleared, and transmuted has left, leaving space to peel back more layers of the onion. So, it took me, it's been just about a little over a year since I started launching my evergreen programs. And it took me a lot of actual personal work as well to launch these, because there were layers of what it really comes down to is unworthiness. who am I to offer these programs? Because we so often see, right? Like how you get on Instagram, you go on Facebook, it's like, do this program and you'll be X, Y, and Z by 30 days from now. And it's like, okay, that's a really beautiful thought, but like, I've been pulled into some of those programs. When I was not awakened yet, like I tried to build my business with those programs. I tried all these different things, right? But at the end of the day, none of it worked for me because it wasn't for me. And it's not to say they don't work for other people, but it wasn't for me. So what I realized is that there are people like me who learn like me, who receive like me. And the base of all my online programs is sound healing. So what I've learned is, okay, we are auditory, and my clairsentience, my ability to feel, is off the chain. So the people who are deep feelers, deeply empathic, and need to rewire and restructure their minds using sound are typically the clients that are showing up and finding me.
Perfect. What accountability you also give to people, because your time is valuable. And also, we're not here to be dependent on our healers. Like, thank you for shifting the perspectives you did in front of me, and then allowing me to then say, okay, what would Lauren do? What would Lauren say? And it kind of just really helped me embody this like beautiful, clear being who was seeing herself as a warrior instead of a victim, which I think we can really do. And it's because most of the time we have been in pain and we haven't had that healer in front of us. So the fact that you're giving others an opportunity to make a more financially comfortable decision for themselves, because I fully believe the opportunity you gave me to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, most that I've ever spent, probably, I think, pretty close amount that it took me to receive a bachelor's degree. Like I was just investing with you so much. And thank you, because of you, I now am making so much more money. And it's not even that I'm making more money, but I'm open to more money, because I was like, if I'm going to be spending this much money on my healing, I was showing universe, like, money is working for me. Money is working with me. Like you mentioned, the unworthiness, working alongside you and working within myself, I was then able to say, wow, I've been feeling unworthy for a lot of my life. So as you now see me running my business and taking up so much space, like, what is that like from your perspective to see your clients now taking up so much space? You're a huge activator for that. How do you, what does it look like for you?
I've gone through such waves of what it looks like. There's so much, pride isn't necessarily the right word, but it's just love. There's so much love to see my clients, someone like you who went to the depths of the dark nights of the soul to really say to yourself, like, you know what, I invested all this money to be a teacher, but it doesn't feel like who I want to be. And things you went through personally, with family, with relationships, to still keep pushing forward and show up and have your podcast and be helping others create their businesses. I mean, like, there's nothing more rewarding than that to me. Like it literally, like, it brings tears to my eyes, because there's nothing more rewarding to me than seeing my clients thrive. I mean, my goal with anyone who invests money to work with me is that by the time we're done working together, I want you to have that money back, or a plan of how that money is working for you and how you're turning it around, because I've been there. I didn't know how I would pay for food. I didn't know how I'd pay for rent. And now I'm in a place where I'm comfortable and I'm fortunate and I'm doing really well and thriving. So to get to see my clients thriving is all I could truly want for people, because, I've had a few clients actually who've been teachers, and I'm working with one specifically right now. I'm not even a web designer, right? But I channel whatever's meant to be channeled. I'm helping her design her entire website. It's just about done. It's going to launch this week. And one of the things I said to her was, okay, how much are you making right now that we need to be able to match for you to be able to walk away from your current career and feel safe? And she said, I make $30,000 a year. And it blew me away, because I have $30,000 months. But I also know that when I graduated college, my first job out of school was $30,000 a year, and I was living and working in Manhattan, and I have no idea how I did it. I know how possible it is for, a client like that who's done the Reiki 1 and 2, who's done the Reiki Master, who's done the Karuna Master, who's trained in all sorts of other modalities, is yoga certified. I know that they have the ability to make $30,000 a month. So it's, what do we need to peel back to get them to the place where they're making 5K, where they get up to 10K, and where they then, maybe it's a year down the line, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, are bringing in those $30,000 months and have that moment that I had. It's like, holy shit, I just made this month what I made my first year out of college, like at a professional job. The greatest gift ever. I told you once, probably like a year ago already, I was like, I don't know, I feel like a grandmother sometimes, even a great grandmother. And the truth is, I've trained at this point over 60 Holy Fire Reiki Masters. And those Holy Fire Reiki Masters, like yourself, have trained other Holy Fire Reiki Masters. And some of those have trained others. So I'm truly a great grandmother within the work that I do. And there have been moments of like, oh my God, like, is there anything left for me to even do? There's so many people doing this work now. Like, is there anything left for me? And I'm constantly shown like where I'm supposed to go next, what is next for me. And if I keep breaking down the doors and I keep, opening space up and making it bigger, I allow others to do that too. So that for me, it's like, there is no stopping. We're just going to keep going.
I love that so much, because it's true when you see clients that you're working with and then they're like skyrocketing and thriving and taking up so much space. Like, even as a business coach right now, and it's weird to call myself a business coach, and I need to start like healing that space, because I can't tell you how clear it is that I really am here to talk money and value and believing in yourself and healing. Like, I'm so grateful for my role. And what I was going to share is there have been times where I've seen my clients thriving and then I could be struggling. And I think we have to remember to not take anyone's wins or successes or even struggles personally, because our journey is so about our own selves. And I remember you telling me that too one day. You said, I'm happy to see my clients doing quote unquote better than me. We really are here to just continue helping one another grow and grow. So I'm grateful that you're still taking up the space in the ways that you're feeling now called and shifted to take them.
A lot of spirit.
Yeah.
A lot of energy in here.
I know. The moment we started talking, my body immediately like leveled up like 10 temperatures. Like, I'm on fire right now, but obviously, of course, like that holy fire energy. I want to talk to you about your ancestral lineage. Where did your mother, father, grandparents come from? What is the lineage that you come from?
Yeah, well, my mom grew up in Brooklyn and my dad grew up on Long Island, where I also grew up. And my grandparents also were here in Brooklyn, but my ancestors and my lineage, I believe it's like 98.7% all come from Eastern Europe. So we're all Eastern Europe, Hungary, Romania, Russia. Funny, I knew my lineage. I've done my family tree, but I had a friend a few years ago say to me, a male friend, he's like, I found out I'm 99% Ashkenazi Jew. And so I'm looking for another one because we're meant to procreate so we can have like children. I was like, dude, you're crazy. Like, there's tons of us. And he was like, you're not 100% Jewish. So I ended up doing a 23andMe to show him that I am. And lo and behold, I actually ended up, when I moved to Miami 3.5 years ago, I moved right across the street from the Holocaust exhibit, from the Hand of God. And while I didn't have family in the Holocaust, deep within the lineage of being Jewish and my ancestors, so I've done a lot of work around my ancestors, around my religion and where I grew up and where my family came from through being across the street from the Holocaust exhibit.
Wow. Have you visited Eastern Europe before?
I haven't actually, not like where my family is from. One day when we can travel again. I've been to Israel, which was so beautiful and deeply connecting, but I didn't have family through Israel.
Where were you in your journey when you went to Israel, if you don't mind me asking?
Still working in corporate America, in my shadows of life, still drinking alcohol, still figuring out my path and who I was, and I was in the early awareness of that, what messages were. It was shortly after that I started my blog, which is it's still alive somewhere on the interwebs. It was called Hint of Greens. And it's when I started cooking, and then went back to school to be a holistic health coach and entered the field of, with clients recovering from food, drug, and alcohol addiction. So it was pretty shortly after my trip that I started aligning with the fact that I was hearing that I was here to help people heal. So gosh, I guess this was about or so years ago.
Wow. Like 2012. Okay. 2012, 2011. So many shifts and awakenings I feel were happening around that time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When did you realize you were a healer?
5 years ago, July, that my best friend passed away. And the day he crossed over, he began communicating with me. So I really had a choice. Did I want to figure out what was happening, or did I want to ignore what was happening? And I couldn't at that point in my life. I was 32, turning 33 a few weeks later, and I couldn't come to terms with my best friend that was 36 years old had died, and we wouldn't be in each other's lives anymore. It made no sense to me. So when I felt him communicating with me, I decided to follow that path, and that's what led me to Holy Fire Reiki and going through the journey of my past lifetimes, where I realized that I'd been a medium before, I'd been a shaman before, I'd been a healer many times over, and I just continued following the path, and it's been a wild 5 years.
Can I ask you, because I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but how did you find Reiki?
Oh my God, it's so crazy. So I had went out to LA I was still working as a chef, and I'd been invited to do some cooking with cannabis infused stuff. And I went out to LA to an event, and I did it. And I met a girl there, and we exchanged information, and a few weeks went by, and I was here, actually. I was in Florida. It was my grandmother's 90th birthday, and my sister and I were sharing a room, and we were getting ready to go to sleep one night, and she said to me, "Lauren, my shoulder really hurts. Will you just put your hand on it?" And I was like, "Really, Jen? Like, you want me to put your hand on your shoulder?" And I'd just gotten back also from, while I was in California, I was still smoking quite a bit of cannabis, and I had gotten some great weed. So I had just smoked right before she asked me to put my hand on her shoulder. So I happened to be in a moment where I was like, all right, cool, I'll put my hand on your shoulder, whatever. And I placed my hand on her shoulder. And about 4 or 5 minutes went by that I just left it there. And my hand started getting so hot and heavy. And I thought I was crazy, right? I just smoked a little weed. My sister asked me to put my hand on her shoulder. And she turns to me and says, "I don't want you to move your hand, but it feels really, really hot. Like, do you feel that, or am I crazy?" I was like, "No, I feel that." And about 30 more seconds went by, and I was guided to move my hand. So I picked it up and put it down, and my whole hand cracked, as my fingers crack, as you know from working with me, the lightning that gets sent out. And my whole hand had lightning, and I was asleep. Like 10 minutes later, I was totally out, like forgot what even happened. The next morning, we went to watch the sunrise. We were staying on the beach, and my sister reminds me, she's like, "Lauren, my shoulder does not hurt anymore. I don't know what you did last night." I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. That same day, I get an email from the girl in LA saying to me, "Oh my God, the Reiki teacher I did my Reiki 1 and 2 with is doing a Reiki training in New York. I felt really called to send this to you." I was like, oh, I think that's what I did on my sister last night. I think that was Reiki. So I ended up signing up. I did my Reiki 1 and 2 about a month later. And I had been guided to move to LA for some time. And finally it was time. I said, I'm going to move. And a week into moving into LA, I went to an aroma Reiki class. Because I didn't want to actually work out, but I needed to leave my empty apartment while I waited for my furniture. And I walked into this class, before it even started, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I need this. This is not the Reiki I do. And I asked the teacher, and she told me it was Holy Fire Reiki, and it was different from the traditional Asui Reiki, that it's a higher frequency and vibration, which I'm sure your audience knows all about from you. And I did my Reiki master a month later. And, you know, it goes back to that moment of, are you willing to invest in yourself? I had just left New York. I had just left my career cooking in New York. I didn't know what was next for me. Yet here I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out how to spend $1,000. It's $1,050 to do your Reiki master. And I was like, how am I going to do this? And I remember she gave me like a payment plan and was so cool about it. And so I always make payment plans an option for my clients, because I know how scary it can be to spend any money, whether it be $300 or $15,000, because I've done it all and then some. So that's really how I found Reiki, was through this girl in LA who sent the message, and I kept pulling the threads and found where I was meant to be.
That brings tears to my eyes, because it's so beautiful to see how guided we are to the Reiki right now. And I think of the story of even just me finding you. Like, thank God for Instagram, because I literally saw you in a live and I had never followed you before. I've never heard of just the way you were talking and your energy. That's how I found it. And I mean, I can even share that story, but I don't feel called to. However, just the fact that Reiki is being placed into so many hands right now. And again, I really believe like the vision is beyond us. I think it's always for a grander, greater purpose. I know I have so many people coming to me like, what is Reiki? What are you doing? I've never done it before, but I want to take your class. And it's just so beautiful to see so many people being called to the Reiki right now. So have you worked with a healer before? Because I'm curious, what's been your experience receiving from maybe a healer taking up this space? I know you do acupuncture, but more of, have you ever worked along someone for a extended journey like you provide your clients with?
Yeah, I mean, even with acupuncture, where I just came from before this, my acupuncturist is also a shaman. And she actually referred me to the shaman she trained with. So I've worked with him, not on a long period of time, but we've done work together. I've worked with someone more as a spiritual mentor I've known her actually, her name's Cassandra Bodzak. I've known Cass since before my awakening, truly, or at the beginning of my awakening, before I found Reiki, before Jeff passed away. I was going to Kundalini yoga and met her there. We were both still living in New York, and then she moved out to LA. I moved out to LA, and I still do just a once a month call with her because she's that person for me. So I've always had her in my corner. And then when it comes to healers, I definitely have, my sister is a healer as well. She's certified as a Holy Fire Karuna Reiki master. I trained her in that. She's also trained in integrated energy therapy, which she trained me in. And I feel really safe letting my sister work on me. I have it will shift, but a few past clients that have done some work on me. I recently worked with another guy for a month. I was feeling really called to having a man work with me, which was really fun. And then we ended up doing something together, which was cool. Yeah, so I kind of go in and out, but the focus for me most definitely over the last 2 years has been more with working with business mentors and growing my spiritual business, because I feel very comfortable and confident within the spiritual work that I do and what I offer. And, I mean, I've had guides, like when I studied True Body Intelligence, I've had a mentor in that work for 2 years. So there are people, and it just continues to evolve. And I think that's what's so important. And what I always share with my clients, like, the way that people can work with me at this point in time is I offer occasional single sessions. Otherwise, it's a 3-month commitment. Because at 3 months, I actually want you to then go off and fly. I don't want you to work with me forever. Maybe it's going to be 6 months. Some people do end up working with me for a year, sometimes a little more. But at the end of it all, you go off and fly. And at the time you're working with me, I am not your guru. I'm teaching you that you are your greatest healer. I'm holding the mirror for you to see that, because it's not about getting hooked on one person. And I think that's where things can get lost sometimes. So I'll be the first to tell a client, like, hey, it's time to take a pause from working with me. You might be leaning on me too much, and I need you to lean into you right now. And I obviously do it with grace and kindness and so much love and compassion. And it hasn't happened too often, because my clients will get to that place at month 3 where they're like, boom, I got this. And then maybe in 6 months, they'll reach out and be like, you know what, can we just do like a 1 month, like to just stay in the frequency. So I've worked with people, and I've ebbed and flowed, and certain people come back, and some, if we meet again on the journey, cool. And I'm very unattached to the outcome.
Again, I learn so much from you every time I get to share your energy and receive from you. Oh my goodness, there were so many activations actually, by the way, like as you're speaking and sharing, my visions and third eye were just so activated. So I kind of I was like in a zone of, oh my goodness, this is life right now. Like how activating. And that's actually what happened too when you were sharing about your journey with Reiki. You were such a strong activator. Can we talk about true body intelligence? Because I remember literally being, I don't know, I've shifted away from it, but I remember every call we got off of, I was like, I'm jumping into true body intelligence. Like that was powerful. Like I felt so many energetic cords being cut, and I get a lot of clients asking me how to cut energetic cords. And I'm glad that we're talking about this, because for me personally, yes, so Reiki's great. Amazing, obviously. Even like the womb work, I'm doing a lot of work around my yoni and my womb work, and I'm realizing like there's a lot of energetic attachments that I can clear from there as well. But like true body intelligence was something I was able to feel energetic cords cutting from past timelines, past experiences. Like it's kind of like an energetic cleanup I felt from true body intelligence that just needed to happen. Can you just explain briefly, are you still using true body intelligence? I mean, I'm sure you use all of your healing tools.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I use all of my tools in their own way, and it's kind of developed into what I'm now calling my work as ESPN channel, ESPM, not ESPN, for emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental channeling. Because that's truly what it is. I'm a channel for your emotional body, your spiritual body, your physical body, and your mental body. And when I work in a session, it may be one body that needs to talk to me, and it may be all 4. It may be 2. It may be 3. So I just open myself up. So then what happens is whatever work I'm guided to within all of the work that I've studied, that's what will come forward. So at times, it is with true body intelligence, what I've found recently and what I've been coming to terms with is a lot of that work was for my healing. It was for my transmutation. It was for my elevating. It was for my sobriety. It was for all these different pieces that I needed to journey through and release some really just heavy fucking shit that I'd been holding on to, that I didn't even know I was holding on to. And there are different parts of true body intelligence. There's parts where we do isometric stretching to work on the meridians and the organs. There is body of light, which is the spoken piece. There's moshing, which is when you walk on the physical body. And what I realized is I actually don't have a deep desire to do physical work on clients. There are people that are trained in it that I've trained with, and I know how to do it all, who love it. And that's what they love to do. But I'm much more connected to the spiritual, emotional, mental work and have a really good grasp on the physical. But for me, the physical is different. It's really communicating with the organs for me and talking to them about what they need and what the body needs. So there are all these different pieces, but specifically what you're referring to is the body of light. And with body of light, what it is we are tapping into different lifetimes. We're tapping into different timelines. We're tapping into the quantum fields. We're tapping into your physical body. Like we're tapping into all of these different parts of the body. We're tapping into your cells, into your DNA, which also we do in Reiki as well. And I do an integrated energy therapy. So it's just this another layer to go even deeper.
Yep. And I felt that heavily during that journey and during that time of my life. So thank you.
Of course. It's interesting. My Glow Up Your Organs program, which I did live and I'm now turning evergreen, with Glow Up Your Chakras and Glow Up Your Aura. Those are both sound healing only. With Glow Up Your Organs, because we're going further into the depths of the body. And that's how I look at it for clients to do. Do the chakras, go within the chakras, go into your energy centers, clear and upgrade those. And then do the same with the aura. And then with the organs, the difference is there's a body of light for every single organ to like deeply, I mean, it's like you take like a wet towel out of the washing machine and we're just really, I can't think of the word and no one can see my hands.
Wringing it out.
Really wringing, exactly. Yeah. So we're really wringing out the organs with the body of light, and then the sound healings layer into that wringing out.
So for anyone listening, again, Evergreen is having that on-demand healing when you need it, right? It's all recorded. It's go at your own pace. It literally feels like it's a tool. It's a resource. It's just like we have our books or we have our calendars. We have our toothpaste to brush our teeth in the morning. Like now you have an evergreen program that you're offering Glow Up Your Chakras to cleanse out those organs. Like that is a tool that I'm really going to recommend for anyone listening to make sure you have. Because there's so much to be received in this universe. There's so much to be received in this universe. And I'm a true testament of it. And I didn't realize how much I was blocking myself because I just didn't know about these healing tools and modalities. This is an interesting question because I feel like I may know the answer, but I also don't want to assume. And I would just love to talk about this conversation. What advice or what words of wisdom would you share with someone who knows they are here to help others heal, but they don't know where to start?
I think that alone is the starting place sometimes, right? I think it drives you. What excites you? What makes you happy? And you start there. Because for me, my healing journey, while I shared that 5 years ago I found Reiki, my healing journey really started when I started my blog. When I kept hearing this repetitive message of you are here to help people heal, and I didn't know what that meant. And I decided to start cooking for myself, and I started putting it on a blog. And then that led the universe to me breaking my foot and taking a leave of absence from corporate America and becoming a chef and health coach for clients recovering from food, drug, and alcohol addiction. So it's like, I never planned to be a chef. I never planned to be a holistic health coach, but I decided to kind of repeat that message. Like, I am here to help people heal. Well, if I'm here to help people heal, what does that mean? And what do I do? So I followed that path. I followed the path that was shown to me.
Apparently, I meant to hear that response at another time. I don't know if you saw. I have no idea what happened, by the way, but Spirit works.
Yeah, I heard myself echoing back. I'm like, I don't know. Do we need to repeat this? Are we good?
Sometimes I'm like, is it even spirit or is it just human tech? Like, we're still learning in the process of this whole journey too. But
yeah, so I think that would really be my advice. And then, because it's going to take, my healing journey is going to be different than your healing journey, which is going to be different from anyone else that's listening to this recording. Everyone is going to be so different. So it's like, just have fun. And for me, I ended up being a chef for, 3.5 years. And I had so much fun. I started a meal delivery service from my apartment in New York City. Like, you can find it on Instagram, Hungry NYC, but it's HUNGERY NYC. Like, you can see all these beautiful meals. Like, I had so much fun and there was so much love. And I thought that was my path until the next piece unraveled and unfolded. And I thought that was my path until the next piece unraveled and unfolded. I mean, I went from being a chef in New York to working in the cannabis industry in LA as a spiritual guide and healer, to moving to Miami, getting sober, becoming like working into sound healing, and becoming, you know, a 6-figure coach, which is really what I was meant to do the whole time. But I needed to release lack, unworthiness, fear, scarcity, and all of those other things that came along with it to get to where I am now. So all of the things that I did along the way were awesome parts of my journey that helped me truly find my truth, or as we call it in Reiki, becoming the authentic self.
I love the authentic self. That's probably one of my most favorite parts of teaching Holy Fire, is discussing the difference between culturally created self and then the authentic self. And then talking about, right? Like, and that's on day one. And then I always feel day one is the heaviest energy, because so many of my students, and even myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been running on my culturally created self so long. My authentic self, who is she? Where is she? Like, so it becomes like this, like, really powerful, intense awakening, which it's always so funny, because it never fails. The day one is always so intense. So thank you so much, Lauren. Before we finish up, I want to just ask you 2 more questions. Of course, anything else that comes in and you're wanting to share, maybe if there's any questions you want to ask me, Lauren, too, like, I'm here as well. What vision do you see for healers in the world?
What I'm being shown in this moment is magic and fun. The more we can play, the more fun we can have, the more we're in co-creation with the universe. And that's what I see. I see people really waking up to the co-creation that is this world. It's so easy to be disconnected. It's so easy to be on the hamster wheel. And I really see people waking up to the fact that we're all healers, every single one of us. And it doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, right? It doesn't matter if you're whatever the career may be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I have to hang up like my postdoctoral degree and become a Reiki healer. It just means that I'm a co-creator with the universe. And I'm in charge of my life, and I'm in charge of my destiny, and I'm in charge of my path, because no one else is in charge of our destiny. No one else is in charge of our path. And no one is coming to fucking save you. Listen, no one, like, whoever is listening to this and needs this message, stop waiting for Prince Charming to come and find you. Stop waiting for Princess Charming to come and find you. And I am not saying you will not have an epic, epic, epic fairy tale life. You will. If you co-create that with God. If you co-create that with the universe. But stop sitting on your fucking ass and waiting for it to happen. Because, like, we all do it. We're all guilty, right? I was definitely like, oh, well, if I just, like, sit here and I pray about it and meditate on it, things are going to happen. Yeah, things are going to happen, but you actually have to take this step and get outside your comfort zone and do some action steps. So I see a lot of that. I see people just really awakening to the fact that we are our own greatest healers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And personally too, like, I have to remind myself that it's safe to play. I have to remind myself that I can be taken care of and receive in the joy, right? So it's really breaking that habit. And just like you said, like, taking responsibility. And that's beautiful to witness you playing and living in your magic, because it reminds me that I can do that too. I can do that. So I'm grateful for healers who are honest about their journey, but also like showing people what's possible. And I think that's so important. So important. My last question is, this is it. This is the last one. Oh, like, I don't want this episode to end. I love speaking with you and having just love you so much. What is your future self telling you right now?
I'm going through some major transformations within my business. Major transformations. And I think this is one of the most important lessons that I could really share is be willing to take the leap every time, right? Like I've talked about when I was working as a chef and I moved to LA and then moving to Miami and becoming a Reiki healer. These are all leaps I was willing to take because I could have stayed where I was. There was always comfort where I was. And the discomfort is in the unknown. And right now I'm in a beautiful, right? We can make it as beautiful as possible. I'm in the most beautiful place of the unknown where I'm being guided to turn my business upside down. And what I mean by that is for the last 5 years, I've worked 70% with women, 30% with men. And I'm being asked to turn that and flip it to work 70% with men and 30% with women. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I do know this. I'm going to have a lot of fucking fun figuring it out and enjoying the journey because God would not give me this task if I was not up for it. So I'm following that because, as I said, I've trained 60 holy fire healers, Reiki masters over the last few years. And I want to say maybe 3 of them have been men. Maybe. Yeah. I could think of 2 for sure. I don't even know that there are 3. And I'm really seeing now that we have so many women awakened and on the journey and doing the work and helping other women. I was always shown this vision that as that happened, I would be moved to another space to do the work somewhere else. And that's what I see happening right now. Really bringing it mainstream in other ways. And as we have all these awakened queens, these incredible women, it's time to have some incredible kings really step forward to be with these women and show up for these women who have worked so hard on this journey to get to where they are. Men are so worthy of this work as well, and they're so worthy of balancing their masculine and feminine. And men get bashed all the time, right? Just as women do. And I think it's time to stop bashing one another, and it's time to really learn how to love and respect men just as much as we're asking men to learn to love and respect women, because we live in a culture filled with like the term fuckboy. We live in a culture filled with like, oh, well, the man had like this, if I'm going on a date, like he has to pay for me and he has to do this and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Like, women are all these things too, and we are not perfect, and it's time to really honor the divine masculine, just as we've honored it in ourselves and balanced in ourselves as women. It's time for men to really have that opportunity to balance all sides of them, and I look forward to being on the forefront of making that happen however I'm guided to.
From the bottom of my heart, from every part of my soul, thank you. You are such a forefront leader of this generation, and I can confidently say that. Such a leader.
It's been such a pleasure to connect and share with you today.
So good. So much wisdom that she has just shared with us. You guys, please join our social media healing experience. It is happening December 9th and for a discounted price at $55. And then there will be a weekend wellness retreat coming up. I highly recommend to go through the social media healing experience, get your Reiki in, clear out any of the gunk that is blocking your energy so you can feel physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong, and spiritually aligned. I will see you in a week, and She Who Heals will see you next week as well. I love you guys.